for my master's in substance misuse, so it was an academic paper, and it was essentially looking at current UK drug policy and trying to analyse what was currently wrong with it, because we know it's not working. And I chose to focus on the idea of the myth of the addict, which is this sort of concept that policy at the moment is based around this mythical person. You know, you don't need to go far to see it. It's on, you know, in the tabloid newspapers. It's Pete Doherty. It's you know, the characters in Trainspotting. It's this idea, excuse me, idea that drug users are criminals. They're usually sort of good kids gone bad. That they, once they start using drugs, that the only route is down, really, and that they become criminals to fund drug use. That they do anything really to get a drug, and then eventually their life leads to death usually. And I think policy at the moment is really based on this mythical figure, specifically with regards to crime. Current UK drug policy is really focused on a link between drug use and criminal activity. It's, you know, it's just assumed that this happens, and this is the case. And whilst there is evidence to show that drug users do engage in some criminal activity, actually correlation cannot be seen as causation. I mean, it's the earliest thing you learn in scientific research. Just because two things correlate does not mean that there's a causal link. And I think actually if you look in more detail at the research, you see that criminal activity tends to precede drug use and not vice versa. That actually drug users tend to only do quite a small amount of drug-related crime, or crime related to seeking drugs. And actually a lot of the people who are in prison for criminal activity, that's usually related to actually taking drugs and possessing drugs. So, you know, there is a criminal element that is inextricably linked with drug use, but saying that using drugs causes people to become these sort of vicious criminals, I don't think is necessarily the case. But at the moment, policy is based around this assumption. Most treatment is directed towards criminals, and we don't know if that's actually true. So it seems a shame to kind of tarnish everyone with the same brush and say that this is the treatment style that we're going for, when it seems to be missing out a lot of people.